Hello and welcome back to
the Zak
and Buzz
Reviews.
Oh, that's what we did there.
Yeah,
that's because we're doing a review of Twisters.
I'm sure that if they're watching this, they know it's Twisters.
Twister, get down!
Yeah.
However, if you'd like to support us a little bit more with these reviews,
Why not? Buy us a coffee. Yes.
Yes, we really appreciate it because we love doing these reviews. I don't know how many videos have we got up at the moment.
Oh, crikey. On the Zak Wylde Productions channel, if we're including everything, over 900.
Oh, 900 videos, and it takes a lot of time, and we need that coffee. So give us support. Anyway, back on to the main thing, which is Twisters, the movie.
Perhaps we should start off by saying whether or not we've actually seen the first one.
Ah, of course, with Bill Paxton, yes.
Yes, I haven't.
I have. Yay! 1-0 to me.
Anyway, so I haven't seen that, and much like we watched Maxine, which was the third one of a trilogy not too long ago.
Yeah.
I didn't feel I needed to watch the first ones to understand that.
Yeah, but
and I'm not sure I needed to
you didn't.
on this one.
You didn't.
It didn't connect at all.
Now, I haven't seen Twister for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's all about, chasing the tornadoes and
yeah.
everything. I don't recall in this movie any kind of references or to... Yeah, they could have made it sort of like, oh, that was my uncle, or this was me. Yeah, there was no connection to the original
Because that
movie.
was the thing. I read the synopsis for the first one on Letterboxd, and that sounded a much more compelling story.
They're not good enough.
This one.
It was an exciting movie when I watched it, but I haven't seen it for years, and so I went in open-minded over this one, because I thought, yeah, okay, what can you do with tornadoes?
I think there was something about this movie that didn't quite gel with me. It's kind of like so much like destruction and trauma and death occurs from chasing these tornadoes, and yet they persist in doing so.
To be honest with you, it was really, on one side, it shows the devastating chaos and misery that living in places like Tornado Alley does. Obviously, now, I don't want to get this wrong for anybody who lives in that area of the United States to say the movie's bigging it up, because the destruction and the loss of your home and your belongings is awful in whatever case. But I'm not sure if they were kind of bigging it up a little bit in this movie, because they were saying that this is an unprecedented storm cycle we're seeing, making it out to be kind of really something exceptionally
was something
big.
I found quite odd, because obviously it was called Twisters, and yes, in the trailer you had the "oh, we've got twins" thing, but that was only very brief.
Yeah,
it was like very sequential, like events. These Twisters were not few and far between. They were very much one day a twister, another day a twister, another day a twister.
But it almost acted, because obviously the rodeo at one point, and it was almost as if nobody ever bothers to check the weather reports. Because I'm sure a tornado can't just appear like that.
Weather Service has issued a tornado warning
without any predetermined sort of weather patterns occurring. So you're thinking, if you're holding a big event like that you're going to be watching.
But then you kind of need that surprise drama to kind of go.
Well, that's kind of why I'm saying I felt they were kind of bigging it up a bit.
Well, yeah, it's a movie.
Because of the movie. But the other thing I don't really know if I liked is because obviously in Twister we didn't have social media and stuff back then.
No.
But this was all playing on the fact that the main bloke character
was like a popular YouTuber
who's making money out of his merch.
Like a redneck.
Yeah, and he's chasing...
But with a heart.
He's chasing these... so because of people who basically suffer from misery, from having these things trashing their towns.
Because it was a bit jokey as well.
And a bit jokey, and he's doing it all for popularity on social media, and then showing his charitable side afterwards, because of course you assume that he's making money out of this and notoriety, and then kind of making more notoriety out of showing his kindness by giving people supplies and things after.
But that's when we also found the kind of, it wasn't really a twist, but that kind of
a twist in Twisters.
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
that idea of like that disaster capitalism came in there with the like high tech companies kind of buying up the properties.
When they initially at the beginning of the movie, they were driving, and you go past this big bill poster with that property tycoon on it, saying, welcome to whatever his name was, sort of, his land. Yeah. And then you find out that actually what they're doing is they're buying, after the disaster and people haven't got home insurance, that they are literally offering them money and paying less than they should do for their
And that's why
property.
the girl then kind of swaps sides, and then so does the other
Yeah, it was a bit
guy who
loosey-goosey,
survived at the beginning.
But I didn't quite understand the connection between that and why the guys were going around with those high-tech monitors to monitor. You know, why was the property tycoon sort of investing in that technology? I mean, surely,
good question.
Surely, it's the typhoons themselves are down to the lap of the gods.
Yeah.
So he's just interested in making sure that he gets to sort of ground zero as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And buys
Well, I
people's
think
land.
that was very much that character's aim, on that kind of organisation's aim. However, I think it was sold to our kind of protagonists in the kind of the whole mapping, the tornadoes, getting the scans,
Was trying
to kind
to
of
prevent the
preventative
disaster.
events,
Yeah.
prevent them.
But actually, I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe we missed the point. Maybe the fact is he wanted them to discover how to disrupt and to stop tornadoes
Nothing can stop it now. Nothing.
after he's bought all the land.
Well,
because after he's bought all the land, he doesn't want his property being knocked down.
Well, perhaps,
Maybe, I don't know.
perhaps that's the thing.
But anyway,
Yeah.
let's get to the movie.
Okay, one bit that kind of shone above the rest of it for me was the theatre scene.
Okay,
The
yeah.
theatre scene where it kind of felt like almost like a meta experience where people are being sucked out of the cinema
Yeah.
whilst we're actually watching it in the
Yeah,
cinema.
so that's a good.
However, I will put a caveat to that, is
Okay.
I would have preferred it if
Yep.
it was in 4DX. Now, we
Yeah.
did promise to do that.
We were going to go and watch it. with
But
4DX.
unfortunately, the timings didn't work out, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, we couldn't do it because it had a very limited showing in 4DX.
It did,
and I was very surprised.
And unfortunately,
by that.
because of our crepuscular lifestyle at the moment,
Crepuscular.
spending all our time working at dawn and dusk,
Yeah.
we basically couldn't get to the time, could we?
No, it became
we had
very
to,
difficult.
So we had to watch in 2D. I think it would have probably been an improved experience in 4DX.
Just imagine the water.
Yeah, 4DX would have been fun. But overall, I think it was just a feel-good movie, kind of. It was
Yeah.
almost like a very mild rom-com between the characters. You know?
Well, that's the thing.
Well, why don't you call it a
maybe,
rom-com?
maybe we should
I dunno.
compare this more then to Fall Guy, where that was presented very much as an action movie in the trailers.
Yeah.
But when you watched it, it was very
a love
much
story.
the romantic love story
Romance. And this was kind of
along those lines.
lines, but I don't think it... I mean, it had its action parts.
It did, but it was potentially downplayed a bit more for the kind of emotional side of things.
I think... do you know what my highlight of it was?
Yeah.
It was kind of the sounds that they put on the tornado to make the tornado sound like they were kind of like roaring, like as if they were an actual physical entity and had their own, life.
Yeah.
It was like, it was this terrifying entity that you couldn't withstand.
Well, that was
And
the
that was quite good.
that was the thing. So our main character obviously had originally planned to stop tornadoes
with
and
nappies. Well, basically,
calculated that this should have worked, and
Yeah.
they try several times and it doesn't work. They then find out that their calculations were slightly
slightly off.
off kilter, and they didn't account for
So
something.
they needed an added.
They needed an added thing,
Which was the.
the magic fireworks.
Well, yeah, when the guy let the fireworks off, he rushed into the tornado, burrowed his thing down into the ground, and then shot the fireworks up. And as soon as I saw that, I thought, that's a MacGuffin. That's going to come up later on in the movie.
And it did!
I was just thinking, it was silver iodine, was it, or something like that?
Oh, I'm not a scientist.
It's-
I'm actually a citizen scientist.
It's the, I think it's what they use for cloud seeding for rain.
They are.
Yeah. So if they want something to rain, I think it's silver iodine.
If only this were the Now We Know show.
Yeah. So they added the element and they added the calculations of the amount of nappy material.
And against the odds,
it worked.
it finally worked.
Just as you think she's going to disappear up in the vortex,
Yeah.
it blew itself
It
out.
dissipates. And
And-
they know that they
Hey.
can do it.
And they done it, and that's basically the end
That's
of the movie.
basically the end of the movie.
Yeah, so I think this is kind of really boils down to a Sunday afternoon movie. If there's nothing
This
else to
would be a
watch.
typical example of something you'd see on the TV.
On the TV, Sunday
Because
afternoon.
it was very safe.
Because it's a safe movie, kids could watch it. It's just
You could drop in and out of it as well.
I don't know if rom-com was a very good analogy, but it was more like just a romance in there.
Yeah.
There wasn't really that many comedy bits, were there?
No.
Yeah.
Well, it was the larger than life kind of YouTube personalities
Yeah,
that were
sort
kind of the
like
jokey
the
bits.
redneck cowboy.
Oh yeah, let's go! Tornado wrangling!
Yeah, that's wrangle.
Woohoo!
Yeehaw! Have you got the drone?
Yeah.
You know, they've got all the characters are all like really hippy dippy, aren't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah.
But there you go.
So perhaps we should rate this out of 10 then.
Okay, so it wasn't amazing. It was an okay watch, average Joe kind of movie. I'll give it a 4.
4? Okay.
4.
You know what? I'm inclined to agree with you
Yeah,
there.
it wasn't bad. I didn't come out of the movie going, God, I've just wasted that time. Of
Yeah,
my
it wasn't
life.
the zone of interest.
No.
This was watchable.
That's funny, isn't it, when you consider Zone of Interest, Oscar-winning movie, and you want your life back, and then you watch Twisters, which is like a Sunday afternoon, movie, and you score it 4. But that's the way it is. We give it to you. We speak the truth.
Yeah, that's what we enjoy. What do we like?
Yeah,
That's
what do we like?
review.
What do you like?
Yeah.
So
4. Yeah, I think that's all right. It's not the best thing in the world, but it's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, so give it a try if you just fancy a little bit of... If you have nothing else to do and you just fancy kind of like average kind of action movie, with a little bit of romance in it, then it's probably right up your street.
That said, at the moment at the cinema, it has got some pretty rough competition with Deadpool and Wolverine.
Wow.
It's going to get annihilated.
We don't have to
by
mention that again because that knocked our socks off. I mean, what we got...
I'm going to watch that again on Thursday.
I mean, basically, we've got... You're seeing it again on Thursday. We've got Borderlands coming out.
Yep.
We've got Romulus coming out. We've got all sorts of things coming. So I think Twisters is probably... maybe timed it a little bit wrong coming out at the same time as Deadpool and Wolverine. But at the same time, I don't know if there's any good time for it to come out.
There you
go.
If you enjoyed this review, please like and subscribe to this channel and comment below any suggestions or further reviews you'd like to see. And don't forget, buy us a coffee. Pretty please. Any support would be greatly appreciated.
Your support and stick your comments down. Let us know what you think of this movie. And we shall see you in the next one.